So the story, so first of all, welcome to the audience regarding and watching this webinar, this first webinar. You know that normally we should be in Vegas at NAB, of course, doing this kind of demo, but of course with the crisis we have to find a new solution. So I want first to introduce a little bit about Dreamwall for people who doesn't know already about Dreamwall or Keywall. So in 2005, I built the first virtual set in Belgium, first virtual studio in Belgium for RTBF. And so with a couple of guys who are still working in this company at Dreamwall and Keywall, in 2007, we created Dreamwall, and it was an animation studio activities, but also virtual set design and channel branding. So between 2007 and 2010, in 2010, we get the need to have our own virtual studio. And so we decided to create Keywall. And Keywall has been made in 2010 with ORAT. I suppose that a lot of people knows about ORAT at that time. And so it was a partnership at that time for production inside the Keywall facility. So we have here in Keywall 2 studio. This one, which is the main one, which is a green key of 200 square meters, and a small one in order to produce weather presentations, because at Keywall we are a kind of weather and traffic information production house. So we are producing more than 2-3 hours live daily, and more than 28 weather shows a day. And so since 2010, so it means around 10 years, so a lot of things happened. And in 2016, one of the most important thing that happened was the meeting between Zero Density and Dreamwall. And so now we are in 2020 at the 4th year of this global partnership between Dreamwall and Zero Density, because now Dreamwall is a major partner, prime partner of Zero Density, and is able to, thanks to the history and the experience of Dreamwall regarding the use of virtual studio technology and Zero Density, especially, we are able to understand and to provide different kind of services to the customers. And so we are able to provide from the design, from concept to design, to integrations, to setup, to operations as well. So we are able to offer a kind of wide range of services that can be provided either in Keywall or at customer facilities, but we are going to talk a little bit later about this. Of course, we can work for different type of productions. Our main activities is for sports, because we have a lot of sports productions, live sports show, by example, and also about weather magazines, e-sport, and elections. And of course, elections is one of the focus of today. But not only, by example, due to the crisis, 2 days ago, it was a kind of world premiere, because we at Keywall, we've got a request from Catholic Church, to celebrate a Catholic event, a mass, here from a virtual studio. So you can see now what we did. It's a previous virtual set that has been customized, by example, by adding colored glasses, colored stained glasses, and using transparencies and using a lot of things. So it was a live broadcast for Belgium and France. So France TV broadcast it as well. And it made around more than 1,500,000 audience people. So, and you can see that it was maybe more colored, and it was very, the look and feel was very different from what we can know from different events which are celebrated in churches. So, so it was a kind of short presentation of Dreamwall and Keywall, so going from sports to church events to magazines to weather. So you understand that we are able to produce everything.
I just want to remind the partnership in between us, how we started. Like it was 2016, end of 2016, I guess. And as far as I remember, just you kindly invited us your fascinating facility that you have, the studios where you do your great stuff, actually. So this is where we met. And since 2016, yes, and we have started to done great projects already, and all successful and just a milestone.
Yes, exactly, yes. So when we met in 2016 at IBC, and at that time I was looking for you know, the missing link, what we are talking about the missing link was already how can I get much better, realistic environment that I can see on my PlayStation or my Xbox, and why I'm not able to get that quality using virtual studio technology. So at that time when we met, Zero Density was the first company to be able to offer to the industry, to the market, that kind of solution based on the Unreal Engine. And so that's the reason why it was really, really interesting to meet. And so when we met a couple of weeks later, we decided to go forward and to try to go step by step together. Yes. And we started, I suppose you remember, Umut, that we started in 2017 with French TV elections for France TV.
Yes.
We spent quite some nights there.
It was crazy because that's also, as far as I remember, this is the first hybrid project that we have done. And it was quite serious project, as you know, because it was an elections. So there are many dynamics that needs to be managed very well. But as you know, we experienced it very well together. So it was actually quite, let's say, fast and simple for us to just set up all the things and manage the project that. And of course, but at the end of the result, actually what we got is a great response from the viewers, from the France television itself, and that was the best show in the elections so far, I guess, in France maybe.
Yeah, and it was the first time that it was a world premiere. I remember we were in Paris while Ulash and Ozdemir and all the company was at NAB, and so the first election shows to take place on a Sunday and on a Monday with Unreal and Zero Density. There had be a press release regarding this, because it was the first time that somebody from the TV industry uses a video game engine to do such serious things as election night. So I remember well, yes. And of course, it was first thing with also some nice environment, like the president office at the Elysee, with that kind of scenography. Yeah, it has been really funny stuff. We spent all the night working, but it was really funny to work on it. And of course, to be able also to drive graphics from data. at that time it was, yes, the first time we were the first to do this, yes, exactly.
It was also the
after,
first project with zero density on elections, so it was first on many fronts, definitely.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's now 3 years ago. So, and so since 3 years now, we developed together a lot of projects because, of course, this was the first with French elections, but just after we did Envoyé Spécial, and Envoyé Spécial was also a new scenography because we use the virtual flyover over Paris to enter the building of France TV. So yeah, Envoyé Spécial was also a really nice one. Here you can see some about the scenographies that we developed for the French elections. And yeah, everything has been made. It was during 4 different Sundays. And for everybody, it was really a great step forward, showing the world that the video game from Unreal, it was doable to use Unreal to do that kind of things. And so it was really exciting moments, of course, with a lot of stress, as usual, but of course it was... Yes, and after this,
sorry, and one another important point here is actually, yes, in using the game engine in a broadcasting, but it's also actually really great example to using real, let's say, data-driven gaming graphics. So because
yes,
the virtual sets can be done, AR graphics, but make this in data-driven in such an election series project. It's actually showing the great flexibility of the solution.
Yes, exactly. And of course, after we are going to talk a little bit later, but about a solution that we developed together, Dreamwall and Zero Density, of course, to allow customers to drive, of course, dynamic data by themselves and to connect it to connect JSON files to dynamic graphics and inside the real-time engine, of course. So yes. So yeah, it has been really, we also have been working on a lot of different projects in different countries. Of course, lot of projects in France, and everybody remembers, I think in 2018, the FIFA World Cup for TF1 with virtual set extensions, with virtual supporters. And yeah, it was really great. And for RTBF at that time, you remember maybe also the teleportation. Of course, it was not the first time. M6 did it before, but we reinvent the way to do it thanks to the technology. And so since that time, a lot of TV channels or customers ask us to redo that kind of thing. And after, yes, Birim.
No, going back to the elections, you started with France, but Belgium is a land of elections. So you've done quite a few in Belgium. So maybe you know, let's get to that part, because I remember at one night you were live in 6 different channels producing elections.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite a number.
Exactly. So yeah, so Belgium is a land of elections. You know that in Belgium we have 7 different governments because of different regions in the country, different communities. And so it means that since 30 years, because it's 30 years now that I'm working inside the TV industry and especially for graphics. So you can imagine the number of elections nights that we produced. And so that's maybe one of the reasons why people feel confident and are trusting the way that Dreamwall is working with the team and everybody, the way that everybody is involved in the company regarding election, because we know it's very, very important. And so in Belgium, we help, of course, some customers like RTL that did a great job during the last elections, but also local TV channels. We have, here you can see a couple of images made from for RTL. So RTL did the graphics, but we helped them with some supports about data-driven and about a couple of things like setup and inside this environment. And so it was for RTL, and of course, and we are not only working in Belgium. We have a couple of TV channels, and some of local TV channels are also requesting some support and some services from Dreamwall. So maybe we can see pictures from the local TV channels. So different look and feel, of course, but anyway, it's always the customer that has the choice and decided what he wants exactly. And so for local TV channels, at that time, we were in 4 different TV channels at the same time. And for last European elections and regional elections, it was 6. We were in 6 different locations, helping and providing support to the customers. So of course you can do a lot of things, and later we are going to see that regarding all these elections, quickly we felt the need to get our own product or our own tool in order to do our life easier. And so after, at the end of this webinar, you will see a quick demo of the election package and the tool that we are using, and of course that people may buy for their own uses. So yeah, so with this you can understand a little bit more about Dreamwall expertise and experience, of course, in elections projects.
And actually, we have done many global projects as well with you. You know, not only Belgium, France, but also in Thailand. You know, yes. In India. You know, so actually, what we are doing is actually at global level. So, would you like to just point out some of them?
Yes. So since the partnership, so a couple of years ago, and as we are, let's say, always sharing beers, meetings, and at that time, yes, we can feel that together we are more strong. Of course, in some cases, like by example, with the customer in India, they decided to buy the best technology, so zero density. When I'm talking about best technology, I'm always talking about zero density. And at that time, they say, okay, now I've got the best technology, but okay, how can I get graphics, content? And at that time, zero density is organizing, let's say, sometimes the link or the contact between the customer and us. And like for India, it helps us quite a lot, because now we developed projects for cricket, for football, and so together we help Star TV to get the best of the scenography. And so it was the case for India, and in some cases it's the reverse way. By example, in 2018, a Thai customer, Spring News, I went to Dreamwall to say, oh, I like teleportation. I saw use what you did for French elections. I want to get more or less something like this, the same. And at that time, I tell to the customer, okay, if you want this, you need to use zero density. And in this case, Spring News of the Thai customer decided to go with zero density. So sometimes it's a real partnership. So sometimes it's one way, or it can be in the reverse way as well. The most important is that when you are trusting Dreamwall and zero density, you have to be sure that you will get the best of the two worlds, and to achieve your projects.
And I just wanted to mention, just reminding that the project that we have done for India, you know, the Star, is actually the biggest sports group, the sports, you know, the group for the sports in India, by the way, the Star. So just mentioning. So I just also want to ask you, you know, I mean, you just mentioned your studio at the beginning of the conversation, that I know that you do some weather shows, and you just serving your studio. And I just wondering, and maybe some also participants, maybe some of them wondering that actually what kind of studio equipment might these market leaders, service providers may choose and may wanna use. So what you have actually in your studio? What you do there?
Yeah, actually in this studio we have 7 camera. We have a crane, we have of course PTZ, we have tracking systems. We have quite different tracking system, because before at the beginning in the studio we were working with ORAT system. So we have still now Sync tracking system, which is still working for a pedestal camera, so it's still working. But so we have 2 PTZ, we have a Techno crane and a second camera with a Red Spy from Stipe. In the next years, we are going to replace the different tracking system. And I think by Red Spy, we have good relationship as well with Stipe. And so we are also setting for Stipe that kind of solution in different customers. And so for customers that are in Belgium, we can of course help with zero density with Stipe. So we can we can provide some first level support here in Belgium. So we have of course 7 camera, different tracking options, and of course 7 zero density engine here in this studio. And in the second one, in the small one, in September, we are now working on the development of new scenographies, which will be very innovative in the way of presenting weather forecast shows. And so we are going to implement zero density engine in this small studio as well. And I hope that in September, we will be able, maybe at IBC, we don't know exactly what is going to happen with IBC. And I hope that I will be able to present to the audience or to customers of zero density a new way of presenting weather shows with a lot of virtual environments, with weather conditions in real time. And so I hope that we will be able to present it. And in order to produce that kind of show, of course, I need new engine of zero density. So I hope that Umut, it can, I suppose that during that time, which could be difficult, it could be good news for you.
I see, yes. We can find a way.
Yes.
I just want to, if you don't have anything mentioned currently, I just want you to ask 2 questions, 2 topics we want to discuss with you. One is, and many of the participants is actually aware of the Unreal graphics quality already, and the key quality of zero density maybe already. But I just wanted to just clarify, especially this TF1 example, where you know there was a video wall, there was a small green box where we just where you done this the football cups. I don't remember the program, the name of the program, but where you had a set extension, and there was a video wall and a small green box, and this was that was the great example for the participants to point out, because you know there is also a video wall, and which is portal window, but there is also a green box just next to it, but there is also a set extension on the top. So I mean, it might be a good point to just maybe let participants know actually how these different let's say techniques of virtual studio production or 3D masking techniques can be combined and make a one single project.
Yeah, we started the first time with TF1 in 2018. So where we combined, remember, it's of course zero density, put on the market a very important option. It was called the portal window. And so at that time, we combined a specific render engine that was pushing the feed of inside the video wall. And of course, as it was the same scene, we did a virtual set extension just all around the video wall. And so it was two render engine, and after you've got just a green box on the right corner in order to do some special stories. Because for TF1, TF1 was just liked to show different stories. The idea was to bring to their audience, to bring them inside some places where the camera were not allowed during FIFA World Cup. I'm talking about the hotel of the players. I'm talking inside the bus. Inside the bus, we have a really funny scenography where the bus is entering the studio, and after you've got Denis Brognard just getting out from the bus and coming inside the set. I think you can see it now with the bus. So it was really funny scenography. And so everything was made with that special, let's say, the video wall with a portal window. It was one engine, the complete virtual set extension for a second engine, and of course also telling stories. And now with this storytelling, we did also a couple of special things for TF1. Oh yeah, it was the plane.
That was good. Yes, that was really good.
Yeah, that was very good. The plane coming through, yes, the video wall and entering the studio. Yes, so we have a lot of not specific development, but it was really innovative uses of the virtual studio technology. And now nobody is talking just about, oh no, virtual studio, no, I don't want to shoot on a green box. I don't want to get fake virtual sets. So now everything has changed since 3 years, since Zero Density showed the way and using Unreal, of course. And so now everybody is thinking about the use of virtual studio technology in different ways. It can be only augmented reality. It can be virtual set extensions. It can be a portal window. It can be teleportation. So you can imagine a lot of things. So that's the reason why we have more and more requests and more and more jobs, of course, to help the industry, of course, to meet the needs of the customers.
The second topic, the second thing that I want to ask you is the teleportation. Because especially nowadays, it becomes a kind of a requirement, and many of our clients, or just even potential clients now, just trying to figure it out actually how they can manage some remote broadcasting, or just for the guests that they're not allowed to, or just not able to come to the studio and they need to broadcast from remote, or you know how it works. So, but I just want to ask you, you have done already some live teleportation programs, some cases with your clients, and these all are really successful. Could you a little bit point this out for the people, especially in participants here, because probably they are asking the same questions actually, how they may how they may manage a kind of a remote broadcasting, remote production for the people, for the let's say anchors, for the guests, or so how you can just consider this.
We are of course working on this kind of uses. So I think that what we see here when we start to discuss about this webinar with Fulash and the team, we wanted to do it like a real production. So we are in the studio, of course, but we are using Zoom, but you can use another one to broadcast and to show your audience. So this is a way that everybody now, every TV channel is using now that kind of tools in order to be able to continue to follow the production. But about teleportation, actually, there is still something which is difficult to handle, is the transmission of the signal. Of course, teleportation, when you do it inside a studio or a TV channel facility, you will get probably an SDI feed or a live signal, and the quality of the signal will be for sure will be with enough quality to produce a nice key in order to allow a remote presenter to be just in front of me. But what is very important to achieve now, and for sure, actually, we are not able to show, but I hope that the next webinar we will be able
on this topic,
to teleport. Yeah, we are working on this topic to be able to teleport people using an internet connection. So this is what everybody is waiting for.
Umut
but
is
now
very
we still have,
teleportation. Umut is very passionate about this topic because it's very relevant, but we don't want to lose this topic in this webinar dedicated to elections.
of course.
That's why we have another session for it. So it's probably the first week to announce it. So before to the European elections, since we talked about the studio requirements, there's a question from Canada. They ask how many designers work on your sets, 3D modelers, technical artists, for example, on an election set. How many people you need to produce that show, election show?
Or it depends of the creative request of the customer. So some TV channels, when they get in touch with us, some of them has already very accurate or very special requirements. And at that time, if the things look and feel is already defined, and you don't need quite a lot of people, maybe with 2-3 people during a couple of weeks should be enough when you want to start from scratch. Of course, sometimes you have customers who don't know exactly, or they have no idea of what they want. At that time, it can take, of course, a lot of time, because you need to validate look and feels, you need to validate different things. But what is sure is that the most difficult issue regarding elections is always to get the link between the data and the dynamic and the graphics inside the 3D engine. It's always the same. And so that's the reason why we decided to develop a kind of package. So in this package, one of our developers will explain it later, but mainly you've got a scene with different type of graph, bar charts, trends curves, pie charts, a lot of things. And from this point, you are able to design by yourself the different kind of graphics you want. And these graphics are, these objects are smart. So they are able to understand JSON files. And so after you describe inside the JSON files, if you want 5 column, 6 column, 7 column, 10, 12, and the way the graphics will, let's say, the graphic will respond to the JSON file that you input. And so it's really a smart way to do that kind of project. And this kind of tool allow us to win, to spare a lot of time in the production process. Of course, it's always big issues, but the big issues are often more from the way to get the data. So usually what is difficult is to get the data from the ministry, from the government, which are official results or not. And this part is usually the biggest issue that we are getting in this kind of projects. But usually I will say that if you have 2 months, in 2 months we are able to achieve a complete project regarding elections, including graphics, including design, including data-driven, including all of things, integration, operations, testing. I think that less than 2 months, it's really risky to try to go on air with big election shows, of course. Does it answer the question?
You're very diplomatic. You didn't say exactly if it's a large crew or a small crew, but I think it depends on the project.
Oh, large crew, small crew. Or by example, if I'm talking about Thai elections, it has been here, if I remember, around 2 months or 3 months of work for 2-3 guys, but it was a special environment. And for European elections at Parliament, where we designed a virtual overview of European quarters in Brussels, it took us, if I remember well, around 200 man days to do the design.
Wow.
And so depending of the time frame that is available, of course, we can grow the team or reverse. But for operation integration, we have always 2 people on site, and usually a project manager. And so for integration, for testing, for rehearsals, usually we have 1 operator, 1 engineer taking care of different things. And in the case of the European elections, like you see here, we are entering the hemicycle with augmented reality on a cable cam with our partner XD Motion. And also the European Parliament election was a really huge project because of like you see here, the virtual environment that we recreated completely. And after entering, so it was a flyover, camera flyover over Brussels, over the European quarter in Brussels, and entering the hemicycle. And like if it's only one sequence shot. You see, it was very great to do it. So this is augmented reality. This was augmented reality at that time. So depending, of course, of the time frame, you can, if you know that you are going to, if we start now for, let's say, US elections in November, maybe we can start only with one guy. It depends on the time frame and the time frame delay that is available in order to do it. So, of course, it's I cannot answer more accurately to
yes,
that
yes.
question. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough. Well, since we started digging in the European elections, let's talk more about this project. This is for the European Parliament, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I
So
think this is the biggest elections event, one of the biggest elections events in the world.
yeah,
I think all European countries, European Union countries watch this live. So let's speak about this a little bit.
Exactly. So in this project, we have three different parts. We have one which was what we proposed to the European Parliament was the use of a virtual environment like we did for Envoyé Spécial or for Vidia, also TV channel. And so it was a virtual environment to allow us to do a virtual camera flyover. And the second important thing was the augmented reality on a cable cam inside the hemicycle. And so it was made with XD Motion, which is our partner for a cable cam. And we did with them different projects like esports, like All-Star game in Paris in December, and European Parliament election. So it was the second biggest, big thing that we had to manage. And the third one was the results. So it was data-driven results using our elections package, using our tool to do it. And of course, you know that we are not, you don't have, if you don't want to get 3D or augmented results, you can get only 2D graphic design for that kind of purposes. So here you see that it was augmented reality on a cable cam, flyover, 2D results. And so to achieve this, we were using 4 different render engine of zero density, of course. And yeah, so it was really a big project. And this project, it's the official channel of the European Parliament. So it has been broadcasted in more than 120 countries. And yeah, so it was really, really a big and a huge project regarding this kind of elections. And as everybody is voting in Europe, and of course, a lot of people get some back information regarding this. But it was really one of the biggest projects that we managed, and for sure in 2019, yes.
We have a few questions, some regarding design, some regarding to your own experience in this industry. So let's start with the question of how you make the crews in different programs. For example, how does it differ between a sports show than an elections show? How does the crew differ in these two different shows?
Yeah, the crew doesn't differ. The crew is working. So of course the profiles may be different, of course, and you need different profiles in your crew. You need people from design part with 3D experience. You need people from technical artists inside real-time engine, of course, to do blueprints, to do to expose different parameters and to do new shaders or new ways of using textures. You know, you need, of course, people who are more focused on the latest development of shaders and different things regarding Unreal. The only thing that could be different between a sports show and an election show is regarding the augmented reality. Augmented reality is really in between. So you cannot get people understanding all the sports in the world. So if you are talking about cricket, about football, of course, with the team, we are trying to understand the different sports and to understand the rules or whatever. But augmented reality is really specific because it's not really coming from the virtual set, let's say, design, because even if it's attached to the virtual set, you need more expertise or a profile coming from the channel branding, because we are more talking about channel branding sometimes when we are talking about augmented reality. So the crew is really can do everything. By example, Sylvain today, who now is just managing the crane, is a manager of Keywall, and he did the mass on Sunday, but he can do a sports show, or he can do anything else, magazines, elections, of course. So the people who are working on integration and operations are not specifically dedicated to the thematic of the show. And the people who are working in the virtual workshop as well. So they are more from the design part, and the only thing that we change usually is the project manager. And depending on the kind of show that we will have to produce, the project manager may be important in a way to help the information going through all the team. But in Dreamwall Keywall, we don't have specific people working for sports or for magazines or for election. We are still a small company, you understand? So we have at least between 5 and 10 people working for a workshop, depending on the project. So yeah, so no, we have no specific people working on separate or different thematic. Everybody is working on other projects, yes.
Okay. Faraz, do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, this is the design question. Someone asked that, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Someone is asking that, do you use photogrammetry for design?
No, not yet. No.
Not yet.
No. We have a project to test photogrammetry, but actually we didn't get the time to focus on this kind. What my feeling is that all the customers want to be able to change everything and to be the most dynamic as possible. And in this case, the use of photogrammetry, it will be really difficult to have, let's say, different various ambient lights. What our customers like from Dreamwall is, by example, for elections, it was for Thailand or for European, we propose the customer to get different ambient lights. And so in the European elections, it was made quite quickly by just changing the hour of the day. And the whole environment was changing because it was linked to the internal clock of the computer, because we had some clocks in the environment, and so it was the real-time clock and the real-time hour that was displayed. And also it has an impact on the light during night, of course, but during the day with different ambient light. So it's maybe one of the reasons why I didn't push photogrammetry, because usually the customers always want to be more dynamic, and the photogrammetry you will be, let's say, a little bit constrained with the lights that have been used during the shooting of a photo. Of course, with HDR, you are able to change and to adapt different things, but with thousands of pictures, it can be really difficult to do it. So actually, we are not using photogrammetry, but in some cases, it can be really helpful. Yes.
Yes. So since remote production, remote work is very popular these days without anyone's choice. So there's one question. Do you have any advice for remote collaboration techniques within the development team? How to collaborate remotely with your development team?
No. Everything is in place to do remote. By example, here in Keywall, we have a broadband with one of our customers who is able to do to take the control of a studio, and the customer is 50 kilometers from here to do sports show, to do this kind of thing. So the solutions and the systems are in place, so it's doable to do remote production. What is actually missing is the use of. Actually, we are still in a kind of TV studio. We are in a TV studio, and what we want to push is to be able to use, let's say, more agile or more light equipment to do it. So getting a live feed from your phone to get it inside the zero density, to do a key. Yeah, so we are working on this kind of thing, especially for weather, because of course it's a 7x7 production. And if one of the presenter can be sick, at that time, he won't be able to come inside the studio, actually. And so at that time, we placed at each presenter home a small green key. But actually, we are using, just in case, it's just for backup, actually, we are using Navy West and 4G transmission through our customers. But I think that we still need to go further by using only mobile applications and mobile transmissions through IP. So we were talking just before, Birim, and you told me, yes, we are working on maybe on a next webinar, maybe, and in order to show new ways, of course, of using the smartphones as a virtual camera inside this environment or whatever. So there is quite a lot of things to do and to develop. But actually, we are not focusing especially because all the tools are there. We need now some time to do some test rehearsals and to be sure that the live feed that you receive from a 4G transmission will get enough quality to allow a good keyer or something else. So we are not especially focusing on it because all the tools are there, and it's just a combination, an assembly of different type of techniques that will allow to do remote connections and teleportation with good quality enough using new transmission signals like 4G, 5G now. Okay.
So Thibault, one attendee asks, what you liked most about zero density except Unreal Engine? So
yes.
Which aspect of
so it's really easy to to answer. Is the difference between, of course, zero density from my point of view, and I have to say that I'm not from technical part anymore now since a couple of years, is that it's really a 3D compositing engine, and it's not like we used before, a layer-based. Before we were using a background, of course, a layer with a presenter on the green screen, using ultimate keyer or crystal vision keyers or whatever, and also a layer with maybe foreground objects. It was the way it was working, but at that time, you were not able to produce reflections, because it was just one thing. You see reflections, of my foot, this kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that was not able to do before, because now you have to imagine that you are not in a layer base, but inside a real 3D space. And inside this 3D space, I'm just displayed inside this 3D space. And so I can have a table. I remember some demo we did before with a table with only the reflection on the table because of the material, because this material was shiny, and so we got the reflection, but the wood on the floor was not shiny, so there was not a reflection. This was the kind of thing that seems normal to everybody who is looking at it. But before we were not able to do this. Of course, we were able to generate a generic reflection when you duplicate and flip the picture. It was the only way to do it, but you were not able to do some mask. I remember also some demo where I've got some water, but only a flake of water. And at that time, I just want my reflection inside the water, not everywhere. And so this is the kind of thing that was not able to do. So you have to consider zero density as a real-time 3D compositing engine. And so life is really easy because you imagine that you are in a theater, you place your different 3D elements or 2D elements, what you want, and you put the presenter inside. And from this point of view, you don't have to care about, oh, this is priority one, this is foreground, this is background. I remember that 15 years ago, we did people running around virtual objects. So it was really difficult. Somebody was pushing a button to switch, okay, his foreground, his background at the same time. So now we don't have to care because the projection box, and here in the studio, my projection box is made inside the setup. But now with the tracking option that you are able to provide with a different demo that you already did, if I just get a marker, a tracker on me, I'm able. So you see the projection box. Of course, somebody is able to change it manually, to adapt it manually. But now the projection box, as you develop, is able to follow the presenter if he's using a tracker, a tracking option. So this is really a real-time 3D compositing software. The keyer is really powerful. And so from our point of view, and from the point of view of the team, yes, it makes the difference. And of course, because now everybody is using a lot of bands of Virtual Studio technology is using Unreal Engine. So the difference is really the platform and the way that it has been built. So it's, from my point of view, always the most innovative solution.
Well, there is a follow-up question on that, but before asking it, I want to ask the same questions to Umut. What is your favorite thing about Zero Density? You're mute.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, definitely I agree, Thibault. Definitely I agree. So this is actually the way that we manipulate the engine in order to get the full benefit from it, like the reflections, virtual shadows that the Thibault mentioned, that is already. So this is not a layer-based system. That's one of the biggest change. But the other thing that I would like to point out is the keying, of course. This is not related with Unreal, I know, but reality keyer is, I know there is no doubt that everybody could agree that is the most powerful, the most, let's say, detailed keyer, real-time real in the market today. And it's software based, and it is, so you can just check all the references in currently even here in our YouTube channels and everything. And because the logic and the, let's say, the technique that we are using with the keyer is completely different. It's not like just based on a green, pick a green color and just arrange the range of the keyed alpha for it regarding that. But it's actually, we are modeling the virtual, the green box, the cyclorama, and we are actually doing like image processing based, image based keyer. So actually, this is what we can say, that we know where are the dark areas, where are the brighter areas, where are the dirts, where are the problematic areas of the green box, and we can apply specific, let's say, pixel-wise keying for each pixel in the screen. So black to black, dark to dark, bright to bright. That's why we can handle all the details, even the dark areas, but at the same time the brighter areas. But otherwise, other keyers, it's not possible, So this is another thing.
Thibault is demoing the keyer for you.
Yes, at the same time. Thank you for assisting me. So you can access all the details and all the power of the keyer in our YouTube channel, because we have several reference videos already there. So you can check here like transparent objects, like real shadows, which is really important to key. And the good thing is, of course, if you have a great lit, great uniformed green box, you can achieve those. But this is not a realistic case. You cannot always have the great lit and uniform green box. There is always problems. There should be. This is nature of this setup. So the light setup has to be, managed perfectly, but it's not realistic. So that's why the keyer needs to adapt these changing conditions instantly, which makes the keyer powerful. So combination of, let's say, Unreal Engine and let's say internal compositing in 3D space in Unreal Engine, and plus reality keyer makes the reality system, the reality engine, and zero density solution is the most powerful and flexible system based on a gaming engine today.
Perfect.
That was taken type.
No, it's okay. Perfect. It's okay. Perfect answer. Thibault.
Yes.
Why am I hearing myself?
Yes, Birim?
Yes. So have you done any outdoor productions? There's a question regarding that. And if you have done any outdoor production, what is the preparation? What's when you're on air, the graphic and the equipment? How does it differ from production indoors? That is indoor production. I can speak.
Oh, yes, yes, I understand. Yes, we actually did outdoor production for augmented reality on a cable cam, and also using using PTZ camera, so from Panasonic. We used them and we did a kind of proof of concept of a PTZ inside a stadium and putting augmented reality on it in a stadium. So, and also we tested the use of a green screen outdoor. So at the ambient light, so not inside the studio, but really inside the stadium, we put a green screen, very light. It was a tissue. And with this, with only the light of the day, the daylight, we were able to get a really good key. And actually, I didn't release this proof of concept because it was for a specific customer. But I think that in a couple of weeks, we will be able to show to industry what we are able to do in augmented reality with an outdoor uses with poor lights and different kind of things. So especially for sports or for big events, it can be really useful and interesting to use zero density for augmented reality in that kind of environment. So yes, it works. We did it. Okay. If you have specific requests regarding, feel free to contact me. At that time, I will be able to share in a, let's say, in a more private environment. I will be able to share the results of our proof of concept. But yes, it works.
Okay. I will share your contact information. So if anyone has a follow-up question, they can directly email you. Faraz?
Yeah. We have another question. And if you need to make a quick change, like moving a virtual object to a new position, can you do this in real time without having to stop the renderer?
Yes, you can do it. Just you have to know before if this object will be able to change the position. If your operator will be able to change the position of that object. At that time, you are able to do it in real time without stopping the engine, of course. But maybe if you are, so this is the way we are working. So if you know that this project can be, each project can be duplicated in the scene. And so we are, the way we are working, of course, is trying to always to allow the operator, virtual operator during operations to be, let's say, for him to be, let's say, the more autonomous, the more that will, we are sorry about this, a little bit confused, sorry. So we are always trying to offer the operator in the interface the ability to change everything or to move different things. So we are we always export some parameters that we know that maybe a director will want to change. And so at that time, if we know, by example, during the Catholic event Sunday, the director wants the cross to change position during the show, and so the cross was going from one point to another one, and so. But that time we know before that we will want to change the position of that object. In this case, you don't have to stop the engine. It's just a controller that you have set up and that allow you to change the position of the object, and that's all.
Great.
Yes, I
also, by example,
sorry, I just want to assist you here. So that's a good question. That's a good question, because this is that happens all the time, because you know how the directors work. Directors check the scene, and they check the positions of the guests according to the graphics. So let's say there is a virtual desks or some virtual, let's say, branding or a video wall behind. So you may need to change these positions according to what the director want to see. I mean, they ask. So this has always happened. This answer is yes, you can in real time. But of course, we need to know, the director needs to know which object may require to be repositioned, or let's say changing color, or or could be anything. So in advance, because then you will be able to change the positions, because we need to export, or let's say make these objects able to control by us during the operation, and then
demande si on peut changer la position du cheval.
all objects in real time wherever you want. Before, in rehearsals, during the preparations, in 5 minutes before, yes, then you'll be changing everything in real time. Any objects, anything. There is no
here you see that we are able to change, of course, the position of the horse inside the set.
Thibault always
because we
with examples.
Yeah, so you see that we are able to change it in real time, of course, but we decide to give the operator the ability to change the position of that object, and that's the way we are working usually.
Well, yeah, that concludes all our questions. If anyone has anything to add, Faraz, would you like to share any input on the final question?
It's comprehensively discussed already, but definitely with the reality engine, you can control everything, every single aspect of your virtual set, not only the position of the object, but also the light, the texture, shadows, and everything. It's up to you. It's up to your plan, what you want to expose for the reality control in order to control it in real time.
For example, Thibault is on fire.
Yeah. So definitely you can control everything.
Both figuratively and literally. Well, thank you everyone for your input. Thank you so much, Thibault, to actually host us in your studio. It was a pleasure. I think it
was the first time, so we will do better next time. But
don't worry about it. So this concludes our first reality talk with Dreamwall, and tomorrow we will be back with Group Media TFO and discuss more about their journey in virtual studio use. So thank you everyone for joining us. I think that's it. Take care.